my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough for you guys to meet. His name is Liam Thompson. He is a quarterback out of Wabash. Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too, Jimmy. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. Nice to be able to talk to one of these small schoolers who I seriously feel need to have a whole lot more love, need to have a whole lot more scouts looking at them. So um, it's kind of strange. I mean, a lot of people may not even know about your university. So hopefully we'll shed light on all of those things. So Liam, start us out, man. Just tell us where you're from and begin from there.
Yeah, so I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I went to Wabash. I started in 2019. Small school, about an hour west of Indianapolis in Crawfordsville, Indiana, and played 4 years there. I played my freshman year. My sophomore year was 2020, so during the COVID season, we didn't play at all. And then I came back and played 3 years after that. So 4 total years there. Just finished up school in December, studied rhetoric, so pretty much communications there. And yeah, excited to be here.
Cool. So Liam, I feel like despite you being a D3 talent, you are a legitimate quarterback prospect in this coming class. And I'm not just saying that because you're in front of me. I say that because it's legitimate. And people really need to know you a little bit more. So diving into you a little bit more again, Indianapolis guy, born and bred, went to Central High School, played not just football, but also some baseball.
Yes, sir.
Talk about those days back in high school before we move into the collegiate scene.
Yeah, so went to North Central High School, just on the north side of Indy. Pretty big school around there. I think we had around 4,000 kids or so. Had a great time there, really good experience. Played football all the way through, obviously 4 years. Played baseball all the way through as well. And I was actually planning on playing baseball in college as well, along with football. So I was planning on going there to do some pitching. Hadn't really decided on it. All my focus was on football. My senior year in baseball, I had a really good season pitching. I think I was 7 or 8-1. And the Wabash baseball, my catcher from high school was going to Wabash play baseball. He was like, "Hey man, you should really consider it. The coach has asked me about you." And after I met with Coach Martin, the baseball coach, and he came to watch me pitch a couple times, I was all in on it. So I was fully planning on doing that. Got a little dinged up at the end of my freshman year playing football, and just decided I wanted to focus all my time on it. So definitely missed it, but had a great time. I played a couple of years of basketball in high school as well, but just grew up two brothers and just playing everything all the time growing up. So that was just kind of how things were, and I had a good experience doing it.
Cool. Just for kicks, talk to me about a baseball, man. Were you what kind of a pitcher were you, man? Like, were you a fastball guy? Were you a closer? How'd that look?
Yeah, so my senior year, I kind of became our number one pitcher, who was one of my best friends, had an injury, and our coach came to me and said, "Hey, I need you to be our number one pitcher this year." So I ended up being a starter. I think I pitched in 9 games, won 7 of them, and then I think I was around like a 2.1 ERA, something like that. I threw a lot of two-seam fastballs. I threw some curveball sliders. Started to work a knuckleball in at the end. Was really, really forcing it in the right time. I could use it, but I wasn't too confident in it. But no, I just love being on the mound. It was a fun experience. It was a lot like playing quarterback. Have a lot of control up there, and kind of control the flow of the game, the pace of the game. It's a little different. It's a lot more, obviously it's a team game, but you're up there all alone. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the competitiveness of it, and just being able to push myself at something else besides football that may not directly translate, but in a lot of ways, I think it does.
Sometimes it does. I mean, I guess it depends on who you talk to. I mean, there are some people that think it's a good thing. Some people think it's a bad thing because
Yeah.
some of the mechanics are somewhat different.
Yeah.
But hey, man, I mean, it's nice to be able to say that you have that under your belt. I know some people like strictly focus on one sport, but it does show a certain level of competitiveness as well as athleticism. So I think it's kind of neat. So
I appreciate it.
as
Yeah, I've heard that about the baseball pitcher quarterbacks that kind of impacts the form. I never felt like I could distinguish between the two pretty well, Like there was, yes, I was still throwing the football during baseball season, but I don't know, it just feels so different to me that it's a totally different motion. It's a totally different arm angle, arm slot, all that kind of stuff. And I do understand kind of the hesitation there, but you know, I, I I think that I had really good coaches that helped me, be able to lock into whichever particular sport I was playing at the time, and I had a good time doing it. So that's why I liked it and just continue to play.
Well, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he was a really good pitcher.
Yeah.
He was throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs or even greater,
I think Jameis Winston was, Russell Wilson, a couple guys.
Yeah, definitely a lot of guys,
Yeah.
with some success in more than one sport. Let's kind of move forward. Ended up going to Wabash. How'd you end up there? And the reason why I say that is because, obviously, the big knock, who whether you like it or not, is it's a small school.
Yeah.
So walk me through how you ended up there versus perhaps maybe a bigger school.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that I really made a pretty big jump from my junior to my senior season in high school in terms of physically. I was growing a lot and just mentally, and also just football wise, felt a lot more confident in, understanding the game. I had a coaching change in high school. So my junior season was my first year with a new coach. And my senior season, we went from a losing record to the best record in 30 years at the school. Won a sectional championship, was in a regional championship with a really good team. Ended up winning state, and I felt like we had one of the best teams in the state my senior year. And I think it was kind of an issue of I played summer baseball, and so I wasn't at all the camps. I was pitching or hitting or whatever on the weekends, and no, I think I just kind of developed late football wise and kind of really decided that that's what I wanted to pursue. And by that time, a lot of schools did have their quarterbacks already, or there was the knock was you're too small. I'd go to places and I'd show up and it would be, hey, we love your film, but you're just too small. And from that time, my senior year to now, I think I've grown an inch or two. I'm 25 pounds heavier, and I just felt like I developed a lot, from high school to college and then throughout college. I looked at some schools. I had a lot of preferred walk-on offers, some Division I non-scholarship offers that I considered, some Division II scholarships. And really at the end of the day, I just made my decision to go to Wabash. Growing up in Indianapolis, I had a lot of family friends and, just people in my life that went there. And some played football, some didn't, but just had great experiences. And one thing that was really important that was ingrained in me from a young age from my parents was, yes, you can go and play college athletics, but also you need to get a good education as well. And I felt like Wabash was a place that I could do both of those things. It was a place where I felt really wanted by the coaches, and I felt like I could come in and play right away. That was really important to me too. I wanted to be able to come in and compete right away and really be taken seriously. And I understand that, it wasn't that I was trying to run from competition of being a walk on or anything like that. It was more of, this was a place where I felt really fit for me. And it was a place that I felt really comfortable. And, I had a great experience there. Spent 4.5 years there, and played some really good football, met some really good people, got a good education, and just had a really good experience overall. So um, I'm happy with the decision that I made. Thought about moving around at times. There were some opportunities to do so, I think, and it just became a place that I fell in love with, and a place that I really wanted to win and just leave a legacy at. So I had a great experience there. I ended up actually playing college with my brother. Ended up coming to Wabash to play wide receiver as well. So I was playing with him, um, and it just became a family thing so quickly. And that's kind of what made me stick around. Just the place, I really bought into it, and I had a great experience. So hopefully that wasn't too wordy. That was kind of
No,
my
you're
experience.
fine. I mean, you answered a lot of that. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, like you said, from the beginning, a little bit of a late bloomer, and that's fair. That happens to a lot of people. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and the other thing too is, if you are good, the NFL will find you. Whether you are D1, D2, D3, NAIA, international, there are scouts all over that are
Yes,
grinding
sir.
each and every day. They're trying to find the next guy. And you yourself, you have found great success there at Wabash and dominated your conference. Let's just be real. I mean, past couple seasons, few seasons actually, offensive player of the year, which is kind of neat. You know, racking up ridiculous stats as a passer as well as a runner, man. I mean, totally disrespected as a runner. I think you had like 700 plus yards on the ground this season for
Yes,
yourself.
sir.
But yeah, I mean, you went out there and really did a great job. So could you have played better competition? Probably. And let's just leave it at that. I mean,
Yeah,
you're in the position right now where you've been noticed. People have seen you. And so now we're in the stage where you're looking at the pros, man. You're a potential guy that can, get into a camp and stick,
yes,
which
sir.
that might seem to be like a crazy thing for maybe a D3 quarterback, but I totally believe it's possible. So definitely appreciate you and your answer. I know it was lengthy, but
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
it is what it is. So
That communications degree coming out a little bit there.
no, it's all good. So Liam, uh, again, Wabash, you were there. I wanted to read a few of these things, man. You got conference records as a quarterback, over 11,000 yards in the air, 102 touchdowns, for both those obviously career. Like I said, all conference several times over. Uh, what is it? Gregory Award winner, which is
Yes, sir. My Gregory Award.
the um, the player of the year for your conference. So definitely stood out amongst your peers easily. So when you look at all of those accomplishments and everything that you've been able to accumulate over your time, what are you most proud of?
Yeah, I'd say a couple of things probably I'd say I'm most proud of. I don't, and I think most people don't play the game for the stats or for records, things like that. I'd say a lot more proud of, the time and the effort that was put into going out and preparing for the season, preparing throughout the season and the off season, all those kinds of things, the relationships that were built with my teammates, with my coaches, the development that I had over my 4 years there. Sometimes I look back at, my freshman year film and I can't even believe that's me, and then just kind of the maturity that I kind of gained throughout playing and from the first game to the last game when I was there, 41 games in my career, and just kind of seeing myself, progress over that time and athletically, physically, in terms of making reads, making decisions on the field, leadership. I was I think only the second three-time captain in the history of our school, which I was probably the thing that I'm most proud of. Being uh, given that honor by our team, voted on by our teammates, and that's something that's really important to me. And just trying to inspire other people, the people around me, and get them going in direction of trying to go win a conference championship and compete for a national championship. And that's that was the attitude every single day. So I'd say that's probably those are some of the things that I'm most proud of, and just really honestly grateful for throughout my time there that my coaches allowed me to have the development that I had throughout the time there, from being a freshman and just trying to figure it out with a bunch of seniors, and getting thrown in there with almost entirely senior offense, and you know being under center some and doing all kinds of things that I hadn't done a whole lot in the past. And just I definitely feel and can see when I turn on the tape, like the development throughout my time there. I'd say that's probably what I'm most proud of.
Cool. And again, Liam, I do feel like you are a legitimate prospect. I mean, I don't know if you've truly wrapped your mind around that concept, but I mean, you are. And some of the things that I was able to find on you are kind of cool, man. Going to the Manning Passing Academy, dude. What was it like being amongst those guys?
Yeah, so I went there the past 3 summers actually, and it was just an amazing time. I think the first year there, one thing that I really remember about that is just being there and taking it all in, learning from the Mannings, learning from my college peers that were there, learning from all the great coaches and people that came through. And I think it was a huge confidence builder for me. It was one of those things where, when we went out there and threw it around, you go through a couple workouts down there with just the college guys that, Peyton and Eli and some of the other guys there will put us through. And I think it was a huge confidence builder for me, just seeing, not, oh, I'm the best guy here, but I think I can, hang around with these guys that are some of the best college quarterbacks in the country. And it really pushed me to, continue on and take the off season really seriously, take the in season really, really seriously, and see how far I could push myself and push the people around me. Just being around people that have had so much success. It's a really good time, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity and thankful to the Manning family for having me down there. But yeah, no, it was a really good experience.
Cool. So, definitely able to compete amongst D1 talent. And so we kind of have to throw that out there for people. Let's talk about you as a quarterback. How would you describe yourself as a quarterback? I mean, some guys are a little, maybe more on the run. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Or they prefer a certain scheme or style or something. Like, um, how would you describe yourself as an athlete overall, if you don't mind?
Yeah. So throughout my time, high school, college, I've played in a lot of different offenses. I was fortunate enough to have the same offensive coordinator the entirety of my college career, who was also our head coach, and he did a great job. But we mixed it up year to year. Like my freshman year in college, I was under center more. We were in more heavy formations. We played with a lot of tight ends and fullbacks, and the more old school type of pro offense, and learned how to drop back and do play action from under center for the first time and do all these kinds of things. And then throughout my time there, we kind of evolved just based on the personnel that we had, and did some similar things throughout the years, but also just adapted a lot and got really creative on offense. And I think our coaches did a fantastic job of that. Trying to put me in a good position for my skill set, and then also the guys around me. We had a really talented group of receivers, running backs, a great O line, and they put us in some really good spots. I think if I had to describe myself where I'm most comfortable, I feel pretty comfortable doing just about everything. I'm throughout my time, even in college when I didn't go under center a whole lot. It's something I've always worked on. My quarterback coach at home, Anthony Morelli, he's always drilled that in me. Like, if you want to play at the next level, you have to be able to do this. And so it's something that I've always wanted to be comfortable with. Um, but I feel comfortable inside the pocket, making throws, pocket movement. I like getting outside of the pocket as well when necessary. I feel really comfortable making throws on the run, creating with my legs. I wouldn't call myself a run first guy. If I'm running, I want to throw it. This year I did run a little more because what I felt like what the offense called for, and we ended up seeing a lot of drop eight. And it was one of those things where I want to make good decisions and not force the ball into double triple coverage, and I'm going to take what they give me. So I feel comfortable doing that. And I just feel really fortunate to have played for the coaches and with the players, the teammates that I've got to play with in college, because learning and trying to dive into kind of what the NFL game looks like, and a lot of the concepts and a lot of the verbiage and things look very similar to some of the stuff that we used in college. So that's really encouraging. And I feel I try to work on all parts of my game so I can be comfortable in any offense. And I really feel like I'm headed towards that and working towards that. So,
Cool. So, I kind of like how you describe how you've, kind of worked a little bit in a lot of different, schemes.
mhm,
Whether, you're under center, on the move a little bit, utilizing some RPO, that sort of thing. I think, that's become kind of the,
yeah,
norm these days anyways. But, you kind of put yourself into a position where, you can be utilized in a lot of different schemes.
yes,
And I
sir.
think that really helps you out. So um looking at your time in in college, man, uh had some decent games. Obviously not the they didn't always end up the way you wanted.
Yeah.
But give me perhaps one of the biggest highlights of your career. Like when you look back on the entirety of it, is there maybe perhaps one game that you just you look back on it and you're like, man, like I don't know what happened, but everything was like clicking, or like, maybe perhaps there was one play in general that you can walk.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple that come to mind. My favorite team win that we had was a couple years back in our big rivalry game with DePaul. It's like it's about 100, almost 130-year-old rivalry, and we got down big, really, really big early. We're down 21-0 in the first quarter, and ended up coming back and winning it. I didn't. I wouldn't say that was probably the game where I had my best game, but I feel like I kind of understood what needed to be done to win, and it was a really good team effort. And that was one that really sticks out to me. But I'd say one that I think of where everything just kind of clicked was this past year. Towards the end of the season, we played Wittenberg, which is in Ohio. Really historically good program that we've been really competitive with and kind of go back and forth. It's a close game almost every year. And I felt like we had a really good game plan for them. And I think it was the second or third play of the game, had a shot play drawn up, worked perfectly, and ended up getting a muffed punt or something like that. We had a short field and we just got on them really early. And it was one of those games where everything kind of was clicking. All the things were working the way that we drew them up. And, just felt really dialed in and with the flow of the game. And it's a really good feeling when you have that. Obviously, not every game is going to be like that. You're going to have games where you start off awful. You're going to have games where you start slow. You're going to have games that are going to get tight towards the end. And so I think I've played in all those games. Like I said, having played in 41 of them, I've been in games that have been tight at the beginning, at the end, that have been, all over the place. So I'd say that one's definitely one that stands out, but I have a ton of ones that I remember from over the years that I'll definitely take with me. So
I mean, definitely finished, you know, decent, I'll say, with your overall, wins. Definitely some great accolades again, that I'd mentioned before. But, after your time there, in college, dude, you had an opportunity, man. You ended up being a finalist for the William V. Campbell Trophy.
yes,
That's
sir.
got to be kind of nice, man, to be, honored in that sort of way. I mean, obviously that's the academic Heisman, but talk me through that moment if you don't mind.
Yeah, it was a fantastic opportunity that I'm just super grateful for again, and ended up going out to Las Vegas for the award ceremony with my mom and dad out there. And I think there was around 15 of us total considered from across the country, all different divisions. I believe Bo Nix ended up winning it. But just being around that ceremony where they did their college football Hall of Fame inductions and all these other different awards and things like that. It was a fantastic experience where I just got to be around so many people who have accomplished so much in the game, which is one, just inspiring to be around those people and, kind of look to them as that's where I want to be. And just kind of not only getting to know them, but getting to pick their brains and just getting to, ask them, hey, how did you get to where you are? Or how did you approach this or that? And that's definitely something that I've really tried to dial into throughout my college career as I've had the opportunity to, be at some things like that with some people that have been really successful in football. And I think I'm maybe just a football nerd. Like I can do that all day. Like I'll talk someone's ear off. I just want to learn and, see what got people where they were and how did you accomplish what you got to accomplish. So it's just a huge honor to be there and take part in that. And they had a really good event for us. So it was good.
Awesome, man. A lot of great things happening for you these days, really, man. I mean, being able to go out there and be amongst the greats had to be kind of cool. Um, Liam, do you want to take some time to not talk about football for a minute, man?
Yeah.
Who is the guy under the helmet? Whether
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
be your other passions, anything else you got going on in your life, hobbies, or anything, man. Hit me with it, man. Tell me what perhaps not everybody knows.
Yeah, right now it's not a lot of hobbies going on. I'm down here in South Florida doing some training with Test Football Academy, working with quarterback coach Tony Rasiopi. So he's down here and there's about 4 or 5 quarterbacks. We got around 20, 25 guys or so. So right now it's a lot of football every day and I love it. Definitely feel like I'm getting a lot better. Uh, Typically, I guess in my free time, I like to play golf. Very competitive. My brother and my buddies are all got into it kind of around COVID time, where that was one of the only things to do. I mean, we got into it. So if we get some free time, off season things like that, we have a lot of fun out there. And I like to fish. My youngest brother is a big into fishing. I'll take him out and we'll do a little fishing. I like to spend a lot of time with my family. I spend a lot of time with my close friends, with my teammates all that kind of stuff. And I consider myself a pretty laid back person, don't need to be doing stuff all the time, but I like to spend time with my people. So that's kind of who I am.
Liam, I know you're kind of you know, head first into football, living, drinking, breathing, dreaming like each and every day. But again, trying my best to dive into you a little bit more as a person.
Yeah.
So give me some sense, man. If it's not sports, give me like two topics that you can like talk on ends about, like with little preparation. Like, is there any other topics that you're maybe proficient in other than being a quarterback?
I would say one topic that I'm pretty proficient in is I'm a big movie guy. I'm huge into it. One of my minors in school was a film and digital media minor. So I kind of took a class at school just as a distribution. I was like, oh, I actually really like this. And it was kind of a way to dive into, something a little bit more artistic, something a little more creative. So it's always been something that I've always done with my dad, my brothers. We've always watched movies. So I'd consider myself pretty proficient in that. My other minor in school was Spanish. So I've been learning Spanish for a pretty long time now. Started, I think, in middle school and just, again, took it in college to get something out of the way and ended up really liking it. So, I really like to kind of put myself out there, learn something completely new. I took a little guitar class in college. Like I just try to constantly, like, I'm looking for something new to learn. And, Spanish has been something that's been really cool to me. I got to go, uh, on a really cool trip when I was in college out to Spain, just throw myself into it and, see how well I actually knew it. But yeah, no, I really do enjoy just kind of pushing myself to, learn something new, do something new, and um, learn as much as I can. I like to travel at whenever I can, and hear about. I guess kind of a little more broad thing. I like to learn about people, So I'd consider myself a talker. That's what I kind of studied in school a little bit. But I'll sit and ask people questions forever, and I just like to learn about people. I'd say I'm definitely a huge people person, and uh, I'd like to consider myself as someone that can kind of go into any room and get along with just about anybody, and have make conversation and make friends just about anywhere I go. So that's something that I've always tried to take with me, is being friendly to people, and that's something that I think my parents kind of put with me from a young age that I try to carry on.
Cool. And I mean, that's got to help a little bit as a quarterback too.
Yeah, yeah.
Being able to connect with, everybody in the locker room. So
Yes,
definitely
sir.
a cool thing. Um, Liam, do want to sort of wrap up our time. This has been a lot of fun getting to know you and your story. But again, you're down there in Florida right now. You're training. You're trying to get yourself prepared for your NFL opportunity. And while you're doing that, man, and while we're closing up, tell these teams why they need to take a chance on you, man. Why do they need to take a chance on this small school guy, man? I know you're good, but tell them one more time, why they need to, make that call. So close this with your pitch.
Yes, sir. I think any team that's going to be willing to take a chance on me is going to get someone that is going to work relentlessly, someone that's going to be a leader. That's something that I've really tried to kind of instill within myself throughout my whole life, but especially in my time in college. Someone that's going to be a leader of men, someone that's going to be accountable, someone that's going to bring their absolute best every single day. I think that football wise, I feel confident making every throw on the field. I feel confident in just about any offense. I feel confident like you said, connecting with my teammates. I feel really comfortable, just pushing myself and the people around me to, go above and beyond. And that's something that I think is really important at the quarterback position, being that coach on the field, being that person that the coach can look to not only know what they're doing, but know what everyone else on the field is supposed to be doing as well. And someone that's going to keep themselves and the people around them accountable. I think that my experience in college, being thrown in really early, playing in over 40 games, can do probably nothing but help me. I feel healthy and no lingering long-term injuries or anything like that. Knock on wood. And but I think I've been in a ton of different situations as well on the football field, been asked to do a lot of different things, but also had a lot of different experiences with different, situations in games or clock management or whatever it may be, being up, being down, figuring out how to, just kind of stay level throughout the game. That's something that I feel like I really developed throughout my time in college. And yeah, I think that again, physically, I do feel comfortable playing inside the pocket. I feel comfortable getting outside of it, trying to make some plays with my feet as well. But I think the most important thing is, just the leadership quality, the hardworking mentality. It's been, instilled in me from my family to the place where I went to college to, everything in my. I try to surround myself with people that are just hard workers and that care and care about the people around them, care about what they're going after, and that's something that I definitely believe I can bring to any organization that's willing to take a chance on me. So.
Cool. Well, again, Liam, it's been great getting to know you and sharing your story. So, do want to wish you all the best as you pursue your dream, man. You take care, and hope to see you very soon in the pro.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
No problem. Once again, I got with me Liam Thompson. He's a quarterback out of Wabash. Check this guy out, man.